if you guys want a free sample pack, I'll put the link in the description down below for all my producers and for all beat makers that are following. That let's adjust this so I'm a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, free sample pack in the description down below. And in that sample pack, it has, I think, like 20 different melody samples with the stems. It's like, it has a lot of cool loops. Highly recommend. It's free. All you guys need to do is enter in your sign in to your Beat It AT account, log in, or sign up, and then enter in your email, and then you'll be emailed the file to download. So, also Andrew Spacey has new music. He has a song called Tightrope. If you guys want to go ahead and pre-save that, there is the link. Tightrope is going to be Andrew Spacey's first official release in 2021. What's Up Woody also has a release. We just don't have a release date for that one yet. New J Vinci song Black Santa that I was playing before we started the stream. Go ahead and check that out. That is produced by Tony of Beat It AT and then engineered by myself. So yeah, just a couple new little updates for any artists and producers. That's the new music update before we jump into the different royalties and how you can collect your different royalties and know where the money is going from the stream, and understanding your value and actually knowing how valuable your music actually is, whether that be valuable at or not valuable. So yep, let's just go ahead and pop on over. So yeah, be sure to pre-save Andrew Spacey's Tightrope. Link in the description, and free sample pack for all producers and beat makers in the link down below, in the description down below. Sorry. All right. So let's talk about royalties. So obviously most people know about publishing royalties, which consists of your performance, mechanical, and publisher royalties. And then a lot of people know about the master royalties, sound recording and masters. But a lot of people get these two things confused. They get them mixed and matched and all types of shit. And, we got to talk about radio, web radio, and webcasts, as well as your lyrics. Because all of these things are copyrighted assets that you as the artist or you as the producer own or create. And the thing is any place that shows your lyrics or distributes your lyrics, you actually are entitled to a mechanical royalty due to that, which would be a publishing royalty. So it gets confusing. But just because you have your publishing doesn't mean you get your masters. So we have 3 diagrams that I'm going to pull up in the next slide, where it's going to actually discuss these different royalties and how they are split up and paid off a little bit more better than, it's going to explain it better than me just telling you guys, because clearly it's none of this shit really makes a whole lot of sense. And all of these things will be used typically to pay off any debt or advances that you take in from the label. So now this is what we're looking at. Now, can we zoom in at all? Let me see. Can I? Nope. Da 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 da. Damn. Can I zoom in like this? Nope. Well, we can zoom in like this, so. Fuck it. So, from looking from left to right, these are different. How about we do this? We're going to do it like this. I got actually the diagrams individually. So we're going to look at the webcast. So right now, this diagram is showing you what radio like radio or radio like services generate. So that would include any broadcast radio. So as you can see up here, and then that would include any webcast radio. So webcast radio being like your Sirius, XM, NPR, Pandora, yada, yada, yada. The shit that not a lot of people really listen to. At the top, we have broadcast radio. Now, broadcast radio is like your normal radio station. And I swear to God, anyone that tells me they want to get on radio is fucking stupid. Stupid. No one young is listening to radio. So it's a dying platform. And it's broadcasted through AM, FM stations. So typically, the only way to listen to radio is if you connect to, a AM or FM station. Now, that doesn't pay you for any masters. Doesn't pay you for your sound recording. What we're seeing here, MC, I believe that is standing for mechanical or music composition. It's either music composition or mechanical. I'm nearly certain it's music composition. So what we're looking at are two different. The yellow is sound recording. Sound recording is your masters. So let me turn off my screen. Let's go back. So we're looking back at this. Give me 1 second. So if you're looking at the royalties, we had the publishing and then the master royalties. All right. Well, your publishing is the red and your master is the yellow. So what's that telling you is you don't get paid shit for your masters for broadcast radio. Like, if your shit gets on radio, you get no payments for the sound recording itself. Now, the songwriter and publisher get paid. So what does that mean? Okay, let's say you're Justin Bieber. Or, what's the better one? Justin Bieber may not be the best one. Let's do Rihanna. I don't know why either or would matter, but for the sake of this example, let's say you're Rihanna and you did not write your song. So, meaning, you don't get your songwriter credit, but you performed it. So Rihanna is a performer. Let's say Rihanna also owned her own record label. Let's say Rihanna doesn't have to worry about anyone owning her masters. That's not the case, probably, but let's just say that is. So because Rihanna is a performer and is not a songwriter, Rihanna would actually get no money. She would get no money for broadcast radio, unless if she owned her publishing, which would be a small portion of her music composition royalties. Now, the writers for Rihanna, they're getting paid because it was on radio. And the songwriters would have it registered through BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, or Songtrust, whatever the fuck. Songtrust uses ASCAP and BMI. They're like an aggregator. Now, so that's what I'm saying though. As Rihanna would not get paid any money from radio. Anyone that's saying they don't get paid from radio means they own their they don't own their they didn't write their music. Because the songwriters and the publishers are getting paid from radio, but not the performers. So let's say Rihanna for, webcast and for internet radio, she's going to get paid as well as her songwriters. Now you're wondering, why the fuck does radio not pay for the masters? Well, radio doesn't pay for the masters because back in is in the middle of the 1900s to the late 1900s when they were establishing the copyright pact for music royalties. They discussed that if they had to pay out for the sound recording and the masters every time a song was played on radio, then radio would go bankrupt. So in the sense of saying, like, we just flat out can't pay you. We can pay the writers, but whoever owns the sound, we can't pay you. It's very interesting. But that was the situation, and still is. This is still to this day why they do that. Meaning, doesn't matter whoever you're hearing on radio, the sound recording owner or masters are not getting paid for that, but the songwriters and publishers are. And also labels are typically paying the radio to play their artists. Payola is illegal, but labels do this through marketing tactics. Like, hey, we will sponsor or give you X amount of money, blah, 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 but who our artists are on the label. So because that, we're giving you this much money for marketing, advertising, blah, 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 blah. The radio is going to be more likely to play those artists. So that's how they get through payola without it actually being payola. And that's how also record labels are also able to protect radio, because radio is a dying freaking medium. No one below 18 really should be listening to radio. You're insane. You got YouTube. So yeah, radio needs money. So record labels pay radio for marketing. They stay afloat, and then they play record labels' music. It's just a cycle. But that's kind of besides the point. So let's So yeah, we were talking about publishing royalties, music royalties. And what we just covered, though, was the radio and web radio webcast. We kind of jumped around a little bit, but that's fine. So we just covered the first board. Let's cover the digital stores. So how the money flows depending on the entity. So how does your money flow when you actually get a purchase from iTunes? So that's a cool one. Let's look at that. Let me pull it up. Bum, 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 bum. Hold on. I'm pulling up the individual slides so we can look at it a little bit better. Here we go. And so, like I said, we're gonna try to cover this at a grand scale. I'm gonna go into details. I'm gonna chop these videos up after the stream, so you guys will be able to digest this maybe in a easier and quicker way as well. But this live stream is essential for you guys to ask questions. And if you're watching this and have any questions, or maybe you think I'm wrong about something and you want to try to give me some clarification, it's open for the dialogue. That's why I'm doing the stream. Otherwise, I would just be filming this and chopping it up. So let's look at this. So we're looking at the digital stores. So how the money flows from like an iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and eMusic. So let's look at it for record labels. We're going to go from top to bottom, looking at record labels down to using a aggregator distributor, then coming straight down to complete indie, as if you were to do it yourself. So looking at the first one, like I said, this is if you were signed to a record label. So this is probably not going to be pertaining to most people, but who knows who watches this video. If you're signed to a record label, yeah, this is how the money gets split up. Congrats. You're going to be really pissed off in probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Unless if you already know this. So for record labels, your record label is going to be controlling the sound recording. That's your masters. So SR is just code for the sound recording, the actual recording of the track. When someone buys it, it's directly... When anyone buys your music, they're only getting the sound recorded. Like, they're getting the sound recording. But that sound recording royalty and money does have a little bit of a portion that pays out to publishing. So it's a little bit weird. Because in the webcast, web-like services, we saw that here from the platform, SR and then music composition would come and split up there. But right here, we're seeing that some of your music compositions are actually coming off of, the sound recording. So your record label is going to push it through, and then the band or artist, depending on your deal, you're more than likely going to be seeing 10 to 15%. If you have a really good record deal, you might see 50%. But that's usually best case scenario. Now you're seeing about like 9.1 cents per track sale is going to like the publisher and songwriter. That's about like 10%. It's hit or miss like 10% of the totality. So about like 90% of the song sale is going to the master recording or sound recording field. And so this is a rate of payment from labels to artists depends on terms of contract. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this 10 to 50%, it really depends on your contract. For most rappers, rap-based artists, they're seeing you're seeing a typical 10 to maybe 18%. But they're also typically taking a 20% gross beforehand. So besides the point. So let's come down here. That if for record labels that are represented by a digital aggregator / distributor. So this is as if you were to work with Orchard, which is Sony's independent distributor. So a lot of the independent record labels use Orchard. It's a common service. Like I said, it's owned by Sony. It's just a whole lot of bullshit in my opinion, honestly. But what do I know? Really, it's just an excuse for record labels to take 15% from indie without doing much, honestly. Like really, that's what we're seeing right here. When we go down to the next step, the next one below us, Orchard and Grooves, yeah, they probably provide a level of service for some of their top performing artists. Meaning, if I was an indie label and I had a deal with Orchard, but I was an indie label that had some pretty big artists under me, then Orchard might, help me out with some Spotify editorial playlists. But that's like, they might. I'm just kind of just telling you for what it is. I'm not trying to even sound bitter. That's just what it is. And then so 85% is going to that record label, that indie label, because Orchard is distributing it on behalf of that label. So now whatever happens of that 85% then gets split. So really, the artist and band typically for an independent deal for like this, for a situation like this, there's a lot of different independent labels. I believe Hitco is one of them. Cleopatra Records is one of them. There's a shit ton of them. Just like so you would be getting 50% of their 85%. Also, mind you, whenever you're doing a record deal, there's typically accounting clauses, so you can't just like ask them to like get the accounting sheet every time you think you're getting fucking shafted. Typically, there's like a limit of how many times you can request for I forgot what it's called. There's a specific word for it, but it's essentially requesting for the actual accounting. OG Tony says cinematic. Yes, that would be another good example. That all these people are going to jerk you and tell you they're going to give you the best deal. They all fucking work and get paid off of someone else's dollar. Come on. It's not that labels are bad. Labels, let me just be honest. Labels are not bad. If you know what they're doing and if you're cool with it and if you need the deal and you're in a position, I get it. But many times there's so many people signing deals that shouldn't be signing deals and it ends up fucking up the whole industry. It's not just the artist to blame. It's mostly the people that work at labels because not a lot of them are properly. I'm gonna stop myself. It's just a collective of problems, and so yes, to answer your short, yes, this would be probably what you would imagine from a deal like Cinematic. They are probably working with a distributor or aggregator like Orchard or InGrooves, then they're collecting 85%. And then whatever you negotiate with them, they will then, take 50. What you got to ask is like, hey, what type of deal is this deal? They might be like, oh, this is a distribution deal. And then you're going to be like, well, what's the distribution deal? They're going to be like, well, a distribution deal is we work with Sony's Orchard and we use them to distribute your music, and then we help and collect on behalf of it, and then we send you checks, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it be. So, like, you can see how this money gets split up pretty quickly. And this is like, we're just talking about, we're not even talking about the music, the song itself. This is just the collection of the dollar from the music. So when you get the dollar, you still got to split it with the producer or whoever else, or the songwriters, the featuring act. So, yeah, you just got to follow the money. Follow the money. If my mic or anything is too loud, or if there's any technical difficulties, please let me know too. I am looking at the chat, so I will be able to answer questions pretty quick. All right, so now we are looking at the good. This is for good people. This is for if you're in a very good position and you know what you're doing and you want to be a boss. This is for bosses. Everything, all that's for what we were looking at for is for people that need babysitters, honestly. So, and some people do. Justin Bieber needs probably babysitters. He's too busy. He's too busy doing music and big shit. Some people need babysitters. For artists who own their sound recording. Oh shit. I want to see if I can. Here we go. So this is for artists who own their sound recording copyrights and use services like CD Baby or TuneCore to distribute their music. This is also like DistroKid, United Masters. Looking at the chat, we got, can you make how to, okay, no, that's not what we're talking about. For artists who own their sound recording and copyrights and use services like CD Baby or TuneCore, United Masters, DistroKid. This is what we're looking at. So this is like the indie, like really like what you're doing at home. So you're going to use an aggregator like CD Baby or TuneCore. That is literally the same fucking thing as Sony's Orchard. Mind you that they're taking 15%. Same fucking thing. You might have a team at Sony Orchard that helps you out and works with you. That's what I was saying earlier. You might have some priority only if you're popping. Clearly, obviously, only if you're popping. But yeah, we're looking here. So digital sale, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, eMusic. So you distribute through CD Baby, TuneCore. You're going to probably keep 100% because you're smart. So now you got 100%. Now you just pay off the creators. That's it. That's how simple it is. Now, sometimes you might also get this other side, the publishing side, the publisher and songwriter, the mechanical, the music composition royalties. But that's a little bit different because I think TuneCore offers services where they collect this for you automatically. That's if you're the songwriter and your own publisher. Which, if you're doing this route, the digital sale and using iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, like you're using like CD Baby, TuneCore, United Masters, then you probably are your own publisher. You probably are your own songwriter, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's how you keep 100%. That's the only way you're ever going to keep 100%. That's the only way. Only way. Any other way is pure wishing well. Good fucking luck. People need to get paid. Record labels are not small. They have large staffs. How do you think they get money off of your music? It's fine, as long as you know that you need them. If you don't need them, pretty fucking useless. You're just giving away your money. So, I'm not even trying to sound, I'm not bitter. I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. So we do have one more pillar of things to talk about, and that's streaming. We talked about broadcast radio. We talked about webcast radio. We talked about digital sales and how major record labels collect the money. We talked about how indie labels collect the money. We talked about how someone completely independent collects the money. Now let's go to streaming, because that is where everything's at. That's where people are looking at the numbers. That's where, playlisting comes into play. Like streaming, that's the juicy shit. You know what I mean? So let's go through streaming numbers. So, hold on. I need to I'm pulling up the image. So, bear with me. I lost the image. Why'd I lose the image? Give me 1 second. All right, cool. And like I said, it's not that record labels are bad. They serve a purpose. My question is, do you guys know the purpose that they serve? Do you know how the money's getting split up? Do you know how it works? I know. Most people that I talk to don't. The shit's confusing. And they don't want you to really know how it works. There's, I don't mind telling you how it works, because at the end of the day, I don't need your music to make a living. I'm doing music. I got a team. We sell sample kits. I can tell you, I don't mind telling you guys 100% of the honest truth of how it works. I don't mind telling other artists that I work with how it works. I don't mind telling you, hey, this is what I want this percent. I want this percent. If we're going to do this, if you're going to pay this, I want this, this, and this. I don't mind doing that. Makes it easy. I like to make my life simple. So now we want to look at how record labels get the money from the streams, because this is how the money breaks down. So you get a stream on Spotify, Beats, Rhapsody, Apple Music. I think, Apple Music, this was made back when I think Apple Music was originally called Beats Audio. Now it's called Apple Music, obviously. But most of this is pretty much the same. Actually, all of this is the same. So you sign to a record deal. You get a stream. Okay, so the sound recording, which is majority of the money, goes to the record label. So the sound recording, like we've discussed, the yellow is your masters. The red is your publishing, your music composition. Music composition makes up the actual melody, makes up the lyrics, makes up the written, the magic of the song. The sound recording is the actual recording, meaning you can use if you own your publishing and you own your MC, music composition, and you don't own your sound recording, depending on your contract, like Taylor Swift, you can re-record it all, create a new sound recording because you do own the written, you do own your publishing, so you can perform your music. You just don't own the original recording, so you have to create a new record. It's like literally recreating your song, and that's why this shit matters. You can't It's like, imagine if what would be a good example? Imagine if Bad and Bougie had to be re-recorded and re-performed, and because the Migos wanted to own the masters of it. Imagine trying to get that done. You're not going to get that done. That's not getting re-performed. That's not getting remade. You know what I mean? So the reality is, in theory, yeah, if you don't own your masters, you could technically create them again if you owned all the publishing. But that's fucking weird, and that's wonky. So why not just set yourself up in a position where you don't have to worry about that? So yeah, like I was saying, your sound recording, your record label, the record label is gonna collect your sound recording revenue. Then they're gonna dish out whatever the royalty percentage you and them agreed upon. So let's say like like most new artists, especially rap and pop artists, you're typically going to get 10 to 18%, no more than 18% usually. So yeah, you're getting 10 to 18% of like majority of this pie. Because as we look up here, this shit's really not a lot of money. You're looking at, you're publishing music composition off of a stream might be like 20% gross of that stream, meaning like 80% of that revenue is going to the sound recording, estimated. So yeah, if you don't have your masters, you are literally giving away like majority of the money that is coming from the stream. So that is where the money always is. Publishing, yeah, you can get money. Money's coming up here, especially if you're making huge records and you have a big catalog. Yeah, your pub is worth a lot. Don't ever let that. I'm not saying that shit ain't worth a lot. It is worth money, but the masters is where it's all at. So let's scroll down, because it only gets better. So this is for independent labels. This is for like Orchard. This is for any label that's that's using Orchard or another, one of those people to distribute the music on their behalf for the artist. This is not independent. This is like in between signing to a major. This is signing to an independent record label. That is what this is. So before I continue into this section, I do have a live chat. Let's. Why is my live chat not doing that? Well, someone asked in the chat. I just joined. Lester Lewis asks, I just joined. I'm further down in the video, but wanted to just ask just in case. If I make a beat and send it in to a mixer, does he receive part of the publishing? No. The mixer has to talk with you to agree with you that he is going to get a portion of pub. At no circumstances should he usually ever get masters, unless if he's the only time a mixer should ever get ownership of a song, whether it be pub or whether it be the masters, is if he contributes a significant amount to the song, where it is without him it would be something completely different, but not through the case of a mix and master, more through like. And it's still something that has to be something that is discussed between the original creators. So typically, no, that is not a thing that mixers. And it's a very teetery-tottery situation where like that engineer shouldn't be asking for that. Unless if, like I said, he like created like changed out like the drum samples with new drum samples and then added a brand new like instrument piece, replacing the other one, improving it, and then that's getting used, and then maybe rearranging. Like if he's acting like a producer, then he should get producer credits. If he's just doing mixing and mastering, he should just get mixing and mastering credits. So hopefully that answers your question. So for record labels though, for the indie record labels though, that are using Sony Orchard, it's kind of like the same thing how we're looking at for sales. They're going to get 15 to 20% before, like Sony Orchard will get about 15%. Then the record label will keep like 50% or so. Then it comes down to you. You're getting 50% of 85%. So about 42.5% of the actual song recording or sound recording masters. The pub, it's the same, I believe that, yeah, it's the same exact thing. The publishing for the streams is going to be the same. So, you might hear about artists that be like, they give away all their masters, but they keep all their pub. Great. You really didn't, you didn't really do. Like, that's really not like a big win. That's kind of like a low bar in my opinion, but fuck it. I don't know. Every artist is in a different boat whenever they're negotiating with their label. Some people that might be a win. But here, if we look here, services pay streaming mechanical royalties to big publishers directly or to a mechanical licensing agency like Harry Fox, Song Trust, or Music Reports, which can then pay their publisher members, clients. Songwriters need to be proactive in seeking out this revenue. Yeah, this is big, honestly, though. This is where it gets really big. There's a lot of agencies. Not a lot. There's this one agency. I forgot what the name of it is. The founder of TuneCore, if you follow the founder of TuneCore on Twitter, he will keep you up to speed about how a lot of the top music execs are looking to steal your money if you don't claim it. Because the one thing is, everyone who's submitting their music through like DistroKid and all that shit, they're thinking that's the only end all be all. They're thinking that's where the money goes and that's where the money ends. Where no. There's like how I've been ranting, there's like another 20 to 25% or whatever out in the air somewhere else. And there was new legislation passed this year that will allow these top execs to literally steal your money if you never claim it. And that's a bit older. This diagram, I believe, is an older diagram. It's 2015 or so. So they're talking about maybe something slightly different than what I'm talking about. But yeah, really the core reason why I'm doing this is not only to educate people and to later send this video to artists that try to yell at me, telling me I'm wrong, but it's also to inform you guys like, hey, your money is going to get stolen. And there's nothing you're going to, legally, it's going to get legally stolen from you. Like, they legally don't have to, they would be like, well, you didn't claim your money within the year span of submitting your song, whatever. And we just passed this legislation that, we oversee all these songs and we have to dish out all this money. And, if you never claimed it, we never know. But the money was in this pie. Yeah, it's all fucked up. My whole point is the whole music industry is all fucked up. Why you see people like Kanye West and other pretty smart people talking about it. And all the predators and idiots are not talking about it. So, now, for the best case scenario, this is for everyone who submits their music through, whatchamacallit, like DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, United Masters, Amuse, I believe. This is for them. So, as we're looking at the music, dude, this is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Everyone gets the same fucking music composition rights. Those don't change. So anyone to tell you is like, yo, bro, I don't know if we could get you to own your masters, but we could get you to own pub. It's gonna be a win. Man, fuck off, dude. I own my pub automatically under any of these things. You own it no matter what. Now, for your sound recording, that all just depends on who is your big papa. Who's overseeing you? Is it an indie label? Is it a big label like Atlantic or Warner? Or is it just yourself? And so for here, you obviously keep 100%. You can keep 100% of your masters and keep fucking 100% of your pub. You don't need anyone to take it. Now, if you do work with Song Trust will take about 15% of anything that they collect up here for you. But Song Trust is pushing your music out to a lot more publishing agencies, like they're collecting your Harry Fox, they're collecting BMI, ASCAP, all that, CSAC. Song Trust will also collect your YouTube money. They'll look all over YouTube for your song and then claim it. Song Trust does a lot for you. They can even claim your lyric revenue. All you need technically would be Song Trust and like a aggregator, like a CD Baby, TuneCore, DistroKid, United Masters. If you do all that, and every time you release, you fill out all that information for your songs, which if you're releasing your music, you're already doing the CD. Whenever you release a song, you're already doing this part. You're already doing the yellow part. You just need to do this red shit manually. And you got to know all the songwriters too, meaning you got to credit your producers. Now that's going to put us into a very interesting section where we talk about beat contracts and examples and explanations of beat contracts, because majority of you rappers are about to get mad because y'all never read these contracts. And that's why I'm about to spit game. And a lot of people are going to be realizing like, oh shit, I've been doing wrong business this whole time. So it's not hard. None of this, once you see it like this, I feel like it helps you start understanding it. And then you're going to start navigating through the music business, looking at all these people thinking you're really smart when really you just know the bare minimum, because you know what your worth is and you know what work you did and how it's credited for. So let us look at the beat contracts shit now. Bum, 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 bum. Hold on one quick second as I grab a drink. All right. I had to grab a drink because my throat's going to be hurting by the end of this. I don't normally talk so much. I'm an engineer and tech guy, so talking is not my forte. Even though I have a YouTube channel that has 1,000 videos of me talking, one would think that it is. All right. So, let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about how producers eat. Even though majority of producers probably don't even know about this, and also I can guarantee majority of artists don't follow this. But hey, I'm trying to protect you guys. I'm trying to protect artists, and I'm trying to protect producers, because hey, if you're a producer and you notice and you're like, hey, artists broke this contract that they bought, well, now you can go ahead and go sue them and get your money. Go get your money, king. But if you're an artist, well, and you did break one of these contracts, well, go fix it and go resolve it by following what the terms that I'm going to go over, because it's different for each producer and it's different for different beats you buy. You got to know whenever you go buy your beats. So, like I said, we need to look at some examples. So, before we start though, every time you buy a beat, every time you purchase a beat online, like BeatStars, whatever, there's a contract that's attached to that. Whether you notice or not, I'll show you. So now you know. It's always been there. It always was there. Anyone who's bought a beat online, I mean, you've automatically filed for one of these contracts. Now, that's my whole point, though, is whether you realize it or not, we're going to break it down. We're going to look through 3 different types of beat contracts. 3. We're going to look at our exclusive rights beat contract. We're going to look at this one producer named Level. And then we're going to look at this, we're going to look at Level's leasing contract. And then we're going to look at Mantra's leasing contract. So we're literally I'm going to break down these legal contracts, these beat contracts, and show you how these producers want to get paid, how Beat It AT wants to get paid, and what does that mean for you artists. So all this, and you might be wondering, well, I'm just going to go fucking YouTube torrent, YouTube steal, and then upload that music. Well, and just deal with it then. Well, you really don't own the rights to do that. And if you do that, they could take all your shit. The producer has the right to take all of your shit. So, it's in your favor to find producers to work with. You know, that's option 1. Find producers you like, that you want to work with personally, and develop a good relationship with them. Option 2 is to search the internet and find beat makers and producers that have contracts and terms that you like, and then just follow them. These are the best options, unless if you want to potentially lose all of your earnings from your hit song. So let's look at here. I need to pull up this. So what we got here, this is the Beat It AT's website. And so what I'm going to do is literally read through an exclusive rights contract on the Beat It AT's website. Now, to be completely upfront, over at Beat It AT, we have 2 different types of exclusive rights. We have the exclusive rights you can buy on our website, which you're looking at right here, which is $50. Then you can contact us for exclusive rights, which is more on a negotiating basis and such, because we have plenty of beats that are private. You know, you may want an exclusive beat. You might want a beat that we do in session. So we're going to charge differently than what we would charge for a public domain beat. Typically, well, not typically, but always being much higher than the $50 price tag. So we do have a very low price exclusive rights purchase for our beats, but I'll explain kind of why we do. But it's still a very fair deal, in my opinion. Sorry about that. All right, so looking at the exclusive rights contract available on beatitat.com, if you guys want to figure out how to get access to it, just go and act like you're about to purchase a beat. As you can see, this is exclusive lease, which is really just an exclusive rights purchase. It's really not a lease, honestly. If you go to license review, go to review, this is the license for that beat. So you can do this for any BeatStars producer. Just go and check out, and then there should be like a little thing where it says view lease. Now that is for any, and it should also work for Airbit and any other like music producer selling website. Now we over at Beat It AT actually this is a very similar contract that is typical to most BeatStars users, but we did modify it a little bit. And so, as you can see, it talks about who owns what, and it's composed by who, and gives it to who. That's more of like the legal jargon, and about the initiation, the date, and all that such about the beat. Now we come down here. All licenses are non-refundable, non-transferable. meaning you cannot transfer this contract to someone else. You can't transfer this beat to someone else, and you can't get a refund. So, mechanical rights. So the licensor, which would be Beat It AT, hereby grants to the licensee, which would be you, the artist, an exclusive license to use the master recording and reproduction, duplication, manufacture, and distribution of photograph records, cassette tapes, compact discs, digital downloads, or other miscellaneous audio and digital recordings worldwide for unlimited copies of such recordings or any combination of such recordings, condition upon the payment to the licensor a sum of $50, a receipt of which is confirmed. Additionally, licensee shall be permitted to distribute unlimited internet downloads for non-profit and non-commercial. Well, that actually should be for profit. But when we get down to the legality of it, it does grant the licensee the rights to collect the royalties. And we see that right down here. Royalty split. This is where what we added. Producer name shall receive 35% of publishing monies and royalties, as well as 50% of writer monies and royalties. Otherwise noted, 35% to producer name and 65% to licensee. As for writer's share to give in record. In essence, we want 35% of the master royalties, and you the artist keeps 65, and then 50% of the writer publishing money. You split that. So you're probably wondering, okay, how does that's kind of confusing. Well, it's let's go back to here. So looking at these yellows, how we were before, those were the sound recording is your master. So you keep 65% as the artist. Beat It AT, we take 35. Now publishing and songwriter, we just want 50-50. And actually, I believe even for publishing, for the publisher, 35, but that gets weird. But ultimately, we want to split the publishing and have the artist take majority stake in the master recording. So someone might say, well, I want 100% of my masters. Well, you should probably pay more than $50 for the exclusive rights. That's when an artist wants 100% of that beat, like I want everything, meaning I buy it, the producer takes nothing. That's a buyout clause, which is different than exclusive rights. So that's where things obviously gets I understand you're talking about buyout clauses, you're talking about leasing, you're talking about exclusive rights. These are all fucking confusing ass shit. But it should kind of make a little bit more sense, where a buyout clause is, hey, I'm buying out your ownership. I'm buying out your stake. And then exclusive rights is, hey, I'm the only one that has this anymore. Meaning, sorry, I keep bumping into this. Exclusive rights being the artist is the exclusive owner of that beat now. Doesn't mean his ownership, like the splits, doesn't mean the splits are exclusive to him. It means his ownership of that beat at that point and then going forward is exclusively to that artist. So that's just one example, though, of leases. We can look at other artists. We can look at other producers' lease contracts. Let's look at here. Let's look at right now we're looking at Mantra. Mantra, he's a big pop star. I mean, sorry, not pop star, pop producer. And so, for $200, let me turn off my webcam. For $200, Mantra is selling you an unlimited license. This is not exclusive. This is an unlimited license. What does an unlimited license mean? I don't fucking know. Let's look at it. So, license key features used for music recording, unlimited online audio streams, for profit live performance, distribute up to unlimited copies, unlimited music video, radio broadcasting rights, unlimited stations. Of course, they want broadcasting. Of course, broadcasting rights is unlimited because the only people that get paid for broadcasting rights are the is for the songwriters and publishers, as we talked about early on. Webcast. The only way you get any master or sound recording revenue from a webcast or like web radio is through Sound Exchange. But normal radio broadcasting does not generate any sound recording or master revenue or master sales. So, first line of Mantra's unlimited license agreement is, this is an unlimited level, non-exclusive license agreement. The unlimited license agreement effective blah, 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 blah. And it talks about the metadata. So, license fee, producers receipt of blah, 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 blah. It's just telling you the legal jargon about this contract. So if you don't know what the terms or what it's referring to, he's telling you. He legally needs to tell you that so you can understand it within a court of law, whatever. So here. So it's even kind of funny because you technically can't even make unlimited songs to this beat. So making of one new song, you will have unlimited, you will have a limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable license to create one substantial different derivative musical composition and one new derivative master recording incorporating the beat. So right there, it tells you exactly what we've been talking about. You create one new composition, musical composition, that is the red in all of those charts we were looking at. And then one new music master recording, which was the yellow, the bottom of those charts. So that he's acknowledging that when you do this, this is what happens when you create it. Even though this is an unlimited license, you can only create one song to the beat. You may exploit and or permit exploitation of the new composition and new recording in non-paid and or paid uses where people don't have to pay to listen and or download it, and where they do. For example, you may release the new recording for download. So he's pretty much saying that, yeah, when you create your song, you can do these things with it. Great. So you know what you can do with it. I mean, this is all shit like that it goes down to. Now, this is an unlimited lease. So what are the restrictions that you might have? So the first restriction, other than that you can only create one song with this, is that you cannot do content ID registration. A lot of distributors do this for you automatically, meaning if you do this and you fucking keep the default settings on when you submit your song for release, you already broke the contract, meaning he can void all this fucking shit, meaning he could take all your money if he really wanted to. Mantra. So, but a lot of people probably don't know that. And there's a statement in this contract that if you void something in here that, yeah, you have like 5 days or some shit. We'll get to it. And contracts aren't bad. It's just that no one reads them, so no one follows them. And then they think they're bad. Contracts are not bad. Just read them. Or have a lawyer read them. I love contracts. So this shit's kind of fun for me. I'm lame. No content ID registration. You may not register or permit the registration of the new composition and or new recording with any content identification system or service, for example, without limitation with YouTube's content ID, whether directly or through a third party. So, flat out, if you submit your song, so let's create an example. My name is Andrew Rapier, Raper, whatever. Andrew Rapier. I created a song. Let's call it Song. So Andrew Rapier's song uses Mantra's beat. When I submit that song, I got to make sure that my distributor, my publisher will not do Content ID. Because if I do Content ID, YouTube Content ID, I automatically am breaking this unlimited lease contract, which I paid $200 for. Which by the way, it's non-refundable. So whatever. I feel like I beat that. Now, in the defense for the producer, this matters because if the producer uploaded this beat to his YouTube channel and now you uploaded your song, his YouTube channel can get copyright striked or claimed, and it's just a headache for that producer when technically you don't exclusively own it. You're still just doing an unlimited lease with the beat. Does that kind of make sense? So you still don't own it because, like I said, this is an unlimited lease. That's $200, while Beat It AT's is $50 for exclusive rights. Anyways. So when you get the unlimited lease, you can't do anything with the beat itself. All you can do is record to it. Now we get to the good stuff, to the PRO registration, which is a performing rights organization registration. So this is the publishing. This is all your publishing shit right here. Producer has written and composed the beat, which is commonly treated as one half of the total songwriting on a musical composition, and you agree that the producer retains a 50% ownership of the copyright in the new composition. Boom, right there. Same thing with us. Beat It AT, we want 50% of that songwriter. Why? Because, well, we wrote half the song. The beat is half the song. So you got to know what your producer wants. And we're going to look at someone who wants 100%, by the way, who's a producer. I'm just saying. But, that's why I'm saying you guys got to read these contracts before you buy it, because once you buy it, you automatically agree. Doesn't matter. So, you agree to register the new composition with relevant information rights organizations ASCAP, but with the producer having 50% of the total writer share under Beats by Mantra, ASCAP, and 50% of the total publisher share under Stone Ape Theory Music. So you got to put in that and then put in that. So Sound Exchange registration, you agree that when you register your new sound recording with Sound Exchange and comparable foreign collectors of master, same thing. Mantra wants 25%, which is essentially 25% of Sound Exchange technically does collect your content ID, and that's where a lot of these contracts start getting kind of funny because they don't make a lot of sense because they kind of contradict each other. Like earlier, we were saying how we couldn't do content ID, but then if you were saying that if you did register this song through Sound Exchange, that you have to give Mantra 25%. So royalties. In addition, when a copy of a master recording like the new recording is sold, either a CD or when someone buys it like a service like iTunes or streamed, copyright law requires that the songwriters get paid a royalty of a mechanical license. You agree that the producer is paid mechanical royalties for producers' 50% songwriting share of the new composition at the minimum statutory rate. Great. Ownership. Here we go. And here, 10 is the breach by you. So if you do breach it, Yeah, here. We're going to come back up to the ownership part, but this kind of caught my eye. I don't know what it is with contracts. Certain gems just stand out. This unlimited license contract, this unlimited license agreement supersedes all prior agreements between the parties, whether oral or written. Should any provision of this unlimited license agreement be held to be void, invalid, or such decision shall not affect any provisions hereof. In short, this whole miscellaneous thing is kind of saying is like, hey, dude, I could have told you one way or the other beforehand. I could have told you one way or the other after you did this. But legally, all that matters is this contract. That's literally what this miscellaneous section is mostly saying. Is, hey, it doesn't fucking matter. If you and Mantra were talking and had a dope heart-to-heart dinner date, and he told you about how he's going to give you the unlimited lease to like 20 of his beats, and then you like, for like, I don't know, like $100 or whatever, I don't fucking know, but you like paid him and you do it, and then he hands you this agreement and you agree to this agreement, it doesn't matter. You owe him the normal rate. So, which is not, this is all just protection. Everyone has this shit. It's just not many people read this. So, ownership. The producer is and shall remain the sole owner and holder of all right, title, and interest in the beat, including all copyrights to and in the sound recording and the underlying musical compositions written and composed by the producer. Nothing contained herein shall constitute an assignment by producer to licensee of any of the foregoing rights. You may not register or attempt to register or permit the registration or attempted registration of the beat with the U.S. Copyright Office. You may own a copyright to the extent of your contributions embedded in the new song and new recording. Example, your top line, lyrics, melody, and or new instrumentational elements. So you do own your rights of your lyrics and like whatever you contributed to this new song. But any registration or claim copyright to the new song and or new recording must be as a derivative work, disclaiming any ownership to the copyrights in the beat. For the avoidance of doubt, there is no institution of new copyright. For the avoidance of doubt, there is no intention of the parties for the new composition and or new recording to constitute a joint work for purpose of copyright law, and or should not herein grant you any rights in or to any that may or have been included by the third parties based on the beat. Producer reserves to itself all rights to the beat. Evidence for if you failed to execute some within 5 days. Yeah, so what's that saying is if you buy this beat, you can't do shit with it. All you could do in ownership wise that you have is you can assume is whatever you added to the new song. And if you do fuck up and if you do try to claim it, you only have 5 days to try to fix it, or Mantra will come after you. Where do we see the new sound record? Do we see anything about him wanting a portion of the new sound recording? Yeah, it looks like right here. So he's saying, in addition to the unlimited license fee, you agree to pay the following royalties to producer, either by directing the distributor of your records to do so, i.e. your record label or the digital digital distributor company you use, example TuneCore, DistroKid, etc., or by doing so yourself, example the payroll ID, sales at Beat Mantra, or via producer booking information that may be provided upon email request. Yeah, here. Producer royalties. For producer's production of the beat you intend to use in the new recording, you agree to pay the producer 50% of everything you make from the new recording, including without limitation. Including without limitation means anything. Anything he deems to be of equal fitting. I know this is taking a while to go through this individual contract, but once we go through this one, it's going to be a little bit easier when we look at the next one. And then you guys will also understand how all these contracts work because you understand the lingo and the structure. It's really easy. I've been looking at this stuff for some years now. It's kind of fun. But yeah, Mantra wants 50% of everything. Everything. And you know how to pay him. He says it. That's his info. Yeah, royalties here. Mechanical, producer royalties, music video royalties. Oh, and then he also wants 25% of anything you make off of the music video. Without limitation from ad revenues in connection with monetization on YouTube from digital or physical sales of the music video, etc. So I'm wondering if you would even want 25% of any product placement. That could be even a possibility. We don't know that. He could probably create a court case argument for that. Hey, he says he wants 25% of all monies you make in connection with exploitation of the music videos. If you have an ad placement in that music video, Mantra gets 25%. Yeah, think about that shit. And it's not that it's wrong. It's just if you don't know what to look for, you are going to get fucked. And you have 5 days. Based on what we all read, you have 5 days if you fuck up to pay him without any legal repercussions. Which I'm sure if we look in here, that if he does legal repercussions, that you'll probably have to pay for his lawyer too. We haven't found that, but that's typically a thing. In totality, it's always cheaper to do correct business than wrong business. So that's the second one. We looked at the Beat It AT one, which clearly could probably be updated a bit. As compared to this contract covers everything. Mantra's not letting you escape on by. He's making sure he's sucking out every penny dry. Rightfully so. The guy has a big platform. He has some fire beats. He's a talented producer. So like I said, rightfully so. You just got to know the terms. If you don't like them, don't use him. That's how business works. All right. One more. Hopefully everyone's enjoying this stream. It's we're like an hour and a half in. So after this, we'll be going into any questions, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Here we're looking at level. It's another $19.90. It's another $200 lease. So let's look. It's an unlimited plus stems. Let's review it. Excuse me. All right. This is a non-exclusive, unlimited plus stems license agreement. Blah, blah, blah. The same thing we always know. It's the same shit in the beginning. License fee. The licensee too shall make payment of the license fee to the licensor on the date of this agreement, meaning you have to pay for this beat the day you get it. Yeah, as you would assume. Okay, so this term is a 10-year term. So it does expire. So in 10 years, it's your right. It's up to you to come back and pay for this again. So if you were to have the song be out for 30 years, just licensing this from him is for 30 years is 300 or $600. Yeah. So for 30 years, if you wanted this, and if he were, I mean, he could always change his prices too, or um, someone could always, he could always change his prices, or someone could buy the exclusive rights. So you could be fucked. So, use of the beat. In consideration of the licensee's payment of the license, it's non-exclusive, non-transferable, kind of the same thing. Here, the new song or piece of instrumental music created by the licensee, which incorporates some or all of the beat, shall be referred to as the new song. Permission is granted to the licensee to modify the arrangement, length, tempo, or pitch of the beat in preparation of the new song for public release. So he's letting you, like, even if you lease it, you can change it around. You can do whatever you want. But he still has to get whatever you agree to. So this licensee grants this license grants the licensee worldwide. I want to find the juice. Let's find the juice. Here. All right, here. This is a good juice. This is how we can look at all the restrictions and ownership of the song, the new song, or the beat. The rights are non-transferable. We already know that. So you, the artist, shall not synchronize or permit third parties to synchronize this beat. Same thing with Mantra. They don't want you to put this through so it gets copyright claims on YouTube. They don't want you. And also, actually, he's actually going a little bit different, actually. I take that back. The licensee, the artist shall not synchronize or permit third parties to synchronize the beat or new song with any audiovisual works except as expressly provided for and pursuant of this agreement. The restrictions includes, but is not limited to, use of the beat and or new song in television. So he doesn't even want you using the song you make with his beat in television, commercial, films, movies, theatrical works, video game. You can't do shit with this other than post it for people to listen to it. That's kind of fucking stupid. That's stupid. Well, this is shit we learn. We wouldn't have known this had we not. Is this the same shit for Mantra? There's no way. This looks different. Yeah, these are different. Restrictions and use of the beats. So what's harm? Some of this shit sometimes be stupid. I don't understand it. I mean, I get it. I don't think Mantra had those restrictions. Ownership. I don't think Mantra had that. So that's what I'm saying. You guys don't know what you're agreeing to until you read it. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So if you use one of Level's beats and you make a song with it, you don't have the right to put that anywhere. The licensee shall not have the right to license to sublicense any of the use of the beat or new song in any or yeah, that makes sense. Licensee shall not engage in unlawful copying, streaming, duplicating, selling, lending, renting, hiring, broadcasting, uploading, or downloading. Sure. Yeah, so you can't share, duplicate, stream, blah, 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 blah. The licensee is extremely prohibited from registering the beat and or new song with any content identification system. So that was what we were talking about. Service provided or music distributor, record label, or oh shit. Ha! So if you use this beat and if you create and or new song, so you bought this $200 beat. I don't understand what the fuck the point of this contract is. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Why the fuck would you pay $200 and you can't even use DistroKid to publish the song? It just sounds like a fucking scam. This actually sounds like a scam contract. I don't even know if Level even knows about this, because this honestly just doesn't even make any sense. So let's read through it one more time. We're going to replace licensee with artist, licensor with level. So I'm going to call myself Andrew. So the Andrew, or the artist, is expressly prohibited from registering the beat and or the new song with any content identification system, comma. So that doesn't mean or. Oh, it does mean or. So, I mean, it does include all of these. Sorry. So you cannot register the new song with any content identification system, service provider, whatever the fuck that might mean, music distributor, which is literally anything to distribute music, record label. So you can't do this from your own record label. You can't use this, distribute this song from your record label or any other record label, or digital aggregator, which does include, for example, TuneCore or CD Baby and any other provider of user-generated content identification services. The purpose of this restriction is to prevent you from receiving a copyright infringement takedown notice from a third party who also received a non-exclusive license to use the beat in a new song. The beat has already been tagged for content identification, as that term is used in the music industry by producer as a preemptive measure to protect all interested parties in the new song. If you do not adhere to this policy, you are in violation of the terms of this license, and your license to use the beat and or new song may be revoked without notice or compensation to you. Wow, that was a mouthful. So, he really wants you to buy exclusive rights from him. I don't know. I guess I really don't know what the purpose is at this point. Unless if he's just referring to this section to just content identification system from any of these places, that might be what his point is. So let's continue. As application to both underlying composition, be the party acknowledged the new song as the term is used in the United States. So they're saying still it's separated. So publishing, so the licensee owns 50% of the writer share. Producer owns 50% of the writer share. Producer shall own and control and administer 100% of the so-called publishing share. So, goddamn. Let's go back to what that means. So let's look at so what he's saying is, if we look over here at this stream, so looking at this bottom right one, so this is for on-demand streams. You and him will split the songwriter, then you guys will split this songwriter, but then he wants 100% of that publisher. What does he want for the masters? So the licensee shall deem to have signed and confirmed mechanical for that license on the United States Canada sales. Licensee will pay mechanical royalties at 100% of the minimum statutory rate, and there's no cap. So the licensee, you, the artist, will pay, not receive. So you're paying, taking out. So that means He must control 100%. Damn, he has so many fucking like little hidden gems in this contract. I'm trying to. Well, we're looking at this a little bit more. Credit. Oh god. Like this is way more intensive than mantras. So this is what I'm saying, you guys. You guys got to read these fucking contracts. Stop fucking assuming shit. It's different for every producer. Here, let's look at this licenser's option. Licenser, mantra shall have the option at Mantra's sole discretion to terminate this license at any time within 3 years of the date of this agreement upon written notice to the artist. For fuck's sakes, Mantra can cancel this contract at any point within 3 years. Mantra. Level. When you purchase this beat, from the date that you purchase this beat, Level has the right for 3 years, at any point within the 3 years of that purchase, to say, I don't want you to own this beat anymore. And when in the event that Level exercises this option, Level shall pay to the licensee a sum equal to 200% of the licensee fee paid by the licensee. Okay, that's good at least. So in this case, Mantra shall pay you double. So if Mantra wants to be like, yo, I want you not to own this, he's going to have to pay you double the rate. So that's actually good. That's actually good. I was going to say, if he got 200% off of you, that was going to be nuts. Upon licensor's exercise of this option, licensee must immediately remove the new song from any and all digital and physical distribution channels and must immediately cease access to any streams and or downloads. So that's also the catch. Is you're going to get double your earnings, but you're going to lose that song. Shit, dude. He ain't playing around. Level is not playing around with you guys. He wants to smoke. He's coming after every fucking penny. All right, let's look at what Level's exclusive rights are. Or you can do negotiate the price. I gotta log in. Well, you guys get the gist, though. This kind of gives you an idea why over at Beat It AT, we give you guys some pretty good beat contracts, if I say so myself. Probably the best in the industry. Honestly, I think they're a little too good now that we're looking at those contracts. Shit. So you guys just saw 3 different producers' contracts. Mantra, Level, and Beat It AT. So you guys can go with that information on knowing what you know now. Go ahead and have some fun. Look on BeatStars and look at those different contracts. See how much stiffing you're gonna get from some producers. But it's fair game. You should be looking at this shit before you buy. It's different for every producer. So, at the end of the day, the producer has the right to say whatever the fuck he wants for the terms of the beat. It's his beat. Just like how you have the right to want anything you want for someone using your song. So it's like, as the artist, you like when you go in and discuss with record labels, just know the leverage you have. We spent probably like an hour talking about royalties and the different royalty streams and the different royalty breakdowns. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So, I mean, if there's any questions, I've kind of answered most questions as we went along. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them now. I'll probably just I'm gonna keep the live on for a little bit. Keep the chat. I'm gonna keep the chat open. So if there's any last minute questions, I don't mind. Answering them. Like I said, if there's any questions, this is the time to ask now because I'm gonna probably wrap up this stream. And yeah. So, any questions? I'm looking at the chat now. All right. If we don't get anything, we might just might end it here. It was a almost a 2-hour long stream. I feel like that's long enough to give you guys enough information. You guys should be better, have more information equipped to understand beat contracts, where your money's going, how you're going to get your money. Actually, we did have one question. Someone did ask, how long does it take to get paid when you get paid on when you get played on the radio? If you have all your shit registered as you should, you will get paid. You'll get paid. It's publishing revenue, so you're looking at typically 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer. Publishing is much slower. If you're using DistroKid, TuneCore, those places are usually 2 to 3 months to get the sale. So, like, let's say you're on June. In order to see June's revenue, you may have to wait till July, August, September sometimes to see June's sale. The reporting money would be for the reporting period of, whatever date it comes in, because that's the report. But the sale is when that stream was done. So, master recording revenue typically comes in quicker, especially using those online aggregators. Getting your publishing revenue is typically a longer haul, typically 6 to 12 months. So yeah, that should be it. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. I will end the stream and I'll probably chop up a couple videos from it and upload them later. Thank you. Adios. And be safe and happy 2021.